I've read The Bards of Bone Plain, and I'm really glad I did. I think once upon a time my cousin advised that I start her books off with a different story, but this one just always sounded more interesting, so I started with this one. And look how pretty! Look at this. And it even goes to the back. This story is told in two different timelines with two main point of views that really is just asking the question, what if there was magic in forgotten words and music? The point of views each have their own chapters, but they're not like titled so much. But in the more current timeline, we are more researching this bard from 2 centuries ago that no one knows what happened to. And so he's turned into this myth, this legend of who he was, because there's not much in history texts, but there's songs about him and, things of that nature. So he's looking into this as a paper for school. Although he's like a teacher, it's not really like a school concept. It's just an idea. Like they teach classes outside. Like it's just kind of like a gathering of people. In the older timeline, we are following that bard and get to see what has actually happened. So we're kind of going back and forth between these two timelines. And dispersed in between, it's kind of like a little bit of a research paper of just kind of way to kind of meld everything together, which actually works. It took about 50 to 60 pages for it to really get going, but once it did, like I was pretty invested. It was really interesting, and I think if you were just a fan of music, you're kind of gonna love this story, just because that's where most of the focus is. People are singers, they play instruments, and it's very heavy on how the music makes you feel and how people can attempt to emit those emotions from the people listening. And I just thought that was really neat to read. This is a little bit more of a slower pace. This is a lower stakes fantasy. It's the realm isn't at stake. The world isn't at stake. The universe isn't at stake. It's just lower concerns, if that makes any sense. But once it gets going, it actually does read faster. For those who need to know, there is no spice, but there are moments quickly mentioned. It'd be like, it's more like closed door things, a quick sentence mentioning something that had happened. Like it's there, but it's not there. Just like how in the beginning of the older section of things, like there's a war happening, but we don't really, we almost don't even know what's happening. Like it's just background. And each timeline has this mysterious traveler that just happens to show up when there's a musical competition. And there is a spooky moment that was unexpected, but added nicely into it, I thought. So if you are looking for something a little slower, a little calmer, a little prettier, I guess you could say, if you're a fan of music, if you like poetry, you might want to give this one a shot.